Welcome to The Dream Show, where each episode I sit down with someone just like you
I'm in a current phase of pushing myself to do things.
to decode the meaning behind your dreams and explore their connection with trauma, healing, and the subconscious mind.
I do like to watch and see where the dream takes me.
My name is Jesse Lyon, your host, a licensed counselor, certified trauma hypnotherapist, and a dream interpreter. So whether it's a nightmare,
I don't know why, but I knew that he was talking about me. And he comes storming up to the door. And I remember him shouting, "Where is my son?"
a bizarre scene, or something too weird to even describe,
It was so traumatic for me, literally, I have blocked all but this memory.
we dive in and learn to listen to the messages that your mind is trying to tell you. Let's jump into it. Welcome to The Dream Show. My name is Jesse Lyon, and today I'm joined with the one, the only, I feel like I have to stand up from my chair. She's here, ladies and gentlemen, Julie from Empowering Me. You've heard about her before. You've listened to me talk about her all the time because Julie actually interviews all of the guests before they actually meet with me for The Dream Show. And so we finally talked her into her own recording. Didn't take much convincing though. She was very eager and willing because, I mean, gosh, you've been following me on TikTok for eons at this point.
Yeah.
Still not sure why. I don't think I deserve that much attention, but I appreciate the support all along the way, and I'm excited for you to be here. Julie, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like current living situation, where in the world you are, and especially your brand Empowering Me and how it connects so much to the dream space?
Sure. So I'm actually repping my merch today.
Yes.
So hashtag your story, your voice, which is the Empowering Me tagline. Just basically everyone has a story to tell, and being confident enough to be able to share it, take autonomy over your story and share it is what I'm helping people do. I am in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada currently, and I mean, I'm from Canada, from the New Brunswick area anyway, so I'm basically back home, close enough to home, I guess. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, so give me a little bit of a background too for sort of your dreaming style. If people are kind of new to the show, we've got a history of working together for quite some time and have done some podcasts about something very strange that our brains do. And I know that plays a role in your dreaming as well.
Yes.
So what are your dreams like, and what is this aphantasia thing?
So for me, when I close my eyes, I don't visualize pictures, and I don't see things when people tell me to visualize like an apple or a car or anything like that. I don't see that. I see the words instead, or I see colors that represent a certain word or whatever. So when I dream, I very rarely see pictures in my dreams. Mostly it is the words or it's a feeling. And when I dream, I feel very deeply, and my body has a reaction to what I feel, or what feelings and emotions come up in my dreams. I feel them more intensely in my body. So when I'm having certain dreams, I will wake up from them. In that state of panic, or in that state of fear, and it's for like terror dreams or PTSD dreams, reliving dreams. I will wake up and feel like I have just experienced that whole thing over again.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that strikes me the most about your dream personality in particular, is that yours is very tactile, but I almost, tactile doesn't even fully express it because it's really experiential, right? Like when you close your eyes, you can't visualize, which is something that is how my brain works as well. Mine's not so much words and color like it is for you. Mine's more like ideas. And, I talk to people, it's kind of like, a mind map where you've got this central idea and all these like points sort of sprout off of it. That's the way that my non-visual thinking sort of works. And so my dreams kind of work that way. They can feel very disjointed, but they all connect together around a central theme. Yours is almost connected together around a sensation. And maybe sensation is a better way to put it, because it includes both emotional sensations and physical sensations. Now some of that, from what you've told me, has a lot to do with PTSD and just the intensity of PTSD dreams. But in general, your dreams, like when you've shared them with me over the years, seem to have been very like connected through experience, through even like body sensations, like feeling the things that happen. I mean, yeah, they can be really intense. Would you say that's fair to describe it that way?
Yeah, it is very fair. That's yeah.
Yeah. And has it always been that way? Because I think some people, when they come to this topic, having experienced trauma, have you noticed, or maybe you can't even remember, a difference between post-trauma and pre-trauma? Or has your brain always been very tactile, experiential like that? Or did the experiences of your life change it?
For the, I mean, for the most part, I believe that they've always been that way.
Okay.
Because like for as far back as I can remember, first events of trauma being in childhood.
It's hard to remember
It's hard to,
Yeah. But I'm always curious about that, the way that trauma changes our experience of the world. So, but it seems to be pretty consistent. Like, very, very experiential kind of person, very in touch with your body and the way that it's experiencing the world. So that seems to be a common thread, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let me ask this, and then we'll, you've got a great dream for us to jump into today, which actually I've purposefully not read too far into. I've done no preparation work because, again, the whole point of this show is for it to represent as accurately and as closely as possible. If someone walks into my office for a dream counseling session, right, mental health combined with dreams, I'm not going to have any preparation work. People don't send me the dreams ahead of time, so it's going to be real and raw. But with that being said, what is it that drew you to this field, to maybe my work in particular, and this idea of dreams? Because once upon a time we were just strangers, and you saw some odd videos of this guy in Florida on TikTok, and here we are.
So, I mean, I think I started before you even got really into the dream content. I started following you before that, and it was the hypnotherapy side of things that.
True. Oh my gosh, yeah, you predate kind of the dream.
I predate the dream thing.
Well, I forget how long you've gone back. That had to be like 2019, like 2020.
2020, yeah, 20. I think it was just like the end of 2019, early 2020 that I started.
Yeah, so, that would have been when I sort of pivoted into dream work. Was really 2020.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, dreams have always kind of, I've had a connection to dreams because the few dreams that I have had with images in it have been sort of like premonition dreams, where I have dreamt exactly what's going to happen. So, like, my father passed away 5 days before my 12th birthday. 3 days before my birthday was his funeral. During that time, I had, leading up to when he passed away, I had a premonition, or I guess premonition dream, where we were 5 minutes late getting there to say goodbye to him at the hospital. And the events of that, how that played out, was exactly how it happened. And then the other dream that I had was when the viewing and the wake was happening. Before we went into the funeral home, I stopped my mother and I told her left to right who was already in the room, how the flower arrangements were, the colors and everything, and what was in the casket with my father. And she just kind of stared at me like I had two heads, because she didn't know what to say. She thought I was crazy that I would know any of this. And then when she opened the door and realize that I was right. She just kind of brushed it off like, oh, you were guessing, like, whatever.
I think it makes people uncomfortable,
It does.
right? They like it's a little spooky, and so human tendency. I mean, pardon for cutting in, but I am curious for your opinion. I think human tendency is to dismiss those things which they cannot easily be explained because I mean, your ability to do that forces someone to rethink what they thought was possible. And that is an uncomfortable thing to have to consider that, well, perhaps I was wrong. And there is this thing that Julie can do that I can't explain. So now I have to sit with it and hold it. People are like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy. It's easier to be like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. You got lucky. It's like, well, I mean, there's luck. And then it's like the odds of that being accurately done are very hard odds. So how do you explain that? Like, what do you think about this gift that you have?
I mean, it's not that it happens all the time. It's very rare.
Sure.
I think it's just that I'm very in tune to those around me, and I technically, I think that how I perceive everything and feel and what I believe in, like my beliefs are, as far as spiritual things go as well, have a play into what happens and plays out in that dream, because it happens more like the more I spend time in like nature and connect with that side of things. When I reconnect and slow down is when I find that I dream more like that. And so when I'm very busy, very disconnected from myself and from nature and stuff like that, I tend not to have as many of those dreams.
That makes sense. So there is, it sounds like you balance both of those. There is a spiritual component to this that you believe in very strongly, but there's also some there's also some scientific explanations too, like this attunement, this I'm deeply connected with those people who were at that funeral. So maybe there's some ability to subconsciously predict people's behaviors because you know them so well. But then some of it is like, well, I also think that there might be some kind of spiritual connection. And when I spend time being authentic to myself, grounded, centered, those abilities amplify. Am I getting it?
Yeah, like with being able to ground myself, I can look at the bigger, like unconsciously look at the bigger picture of how things, I guess, how things are working with my relationship to certain people. And then I may have a dream about that person and things that are happening with them based on, I mean, it could just be like based on conversations or based on interactions that I've had with them recently. And then I may have a dream about them and how things are going with them. And I'll have like, maybe it'll be the next time we hang out. I'll have a dream of like a conversation that we're having or something.
In your way of thinking about this spiritually, because I don't dabble too much into that, so I'm curious for your opinion. When you think about that spiritually, is that kind of a top down or a bottom up? As in, like, there is some greater spiritual entity which is feeding you information, which I think is kind of the classic sort of Christian idea. It's like God, spirits, demons will feed information into a sleeping person's brain to give them dreams and predictions about the future, like prophetic dreams. You think about, the Technicolor dream coat, right? And like having that premonition dream. And you think about John in Revelation, like dreaming about the end times. The thought is that's God or some kind of spirit's interpretation. But when you say connecting with nature, it almost sounds like you're seeing it from bottom up. It's like when I'm connected with the universe in total, I'm tapped into a greater consciousness of the universe, which allows me to be much more in tune and predictive. Which is also a theology or spirituality that I've heard described among those who are very avid dream enthusiasts. So what does your spiritual interpretation align with more, or is there a third option?
So I'm more bottom up. I'm more spiritual in that I believe that we're all connected through earth or through nature. And one of the things is that everybody that has lived previous to us, we all have part of them in us, because
Okay.
as they have existed previous and have passed on, their spirit, their energy has been released, and we all connect to energies. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it seems much more holistic. It's like everything kind of connecting together. Like
Yeah.
how similar, for those who are familiar, which a lot of dream enthusiasts are, how similar or different is that than the Jungian idea of the collective unconscious? Similar, different?
I think it's similar. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. All right. Is there last question that I want to jump into your dream in particular, but is there a way personally that you can tell between like an intuition collective dream versus a personal subconscious dream? I've talked with many dreamers, and some of them tell me they know when it's an intuition dream because there's this feeling like right above their stomach, below their chest, right above their stomach, there's this like tingly sort of like spark sort of feeling when they wake up, and it's like, that's not me, that's my intuition. How do you tell?
So it's not when I wake up. It's usually at some point during the day. I will have I'll have that feeling sort of right where my rib cage connects. So
Yeah, that's what other people have told me.
Yeah.
I don't know what that part of the body is or what it's doing, but
it's like your
well, it's very
spleen.
curious that it's the same place.
Yeah, it's kind of where
Yeah,
your
like-
spleen is.
Right there.
there,
So my
yeah.
rib cage is right here, my
Yep.
stomach is here, and then like this little triangle spot.
Yep.
I don't know what that is, but that's it. There's something in
That's
there.
it. Yeah, I'll feel something there, and it's like, okay, something's up.
Someone who's into yoga is going to be like, well, it's actually this chakra that's doing that. put it in the comments.
You're going to get somebody like that on the show, and they're going to explain that all to you. And
listen, if you know what aura energy chakra it is, put in an application. It's linked in the description below. You're next on the show, because that stuff
in the pre-interview, they'll have to explain it to me, and then they'll explain it to you.
There you go. So don't be shy. Drop an application. A lot of people want to ask you what their dreams mean, and this is the best way to do it these days.
Exactly.
So come on in. Let's chat about it. And on that note, you have one in particular that we're going to dissect today.
Yes.
Take it away. What is this dream that we're looking into?
Okay, so in the dream, I was in my room, and I was surrounded by personal care items, is the best I could describe this. And by personal care items, like shower scrubbies and candles and things along those lines. And I felt like I was drowning. There were people around watching me sink and drown. So like there were so many of those things that I was drowning and I was falling through them. And there were people around watching, and they just kind of let me sink and drown
Whoa.
into the personal care items. And these were all like dropped through the used personal care items.
They were, well, you added a word there at the end. You said used personal care items.
Yeah. It's there in the last, they started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you first say it, I didn't see the word used. So
Yeah.
from the beginning, they were always like used. Like I'm thinking like used tampons. Like, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
Or like poopy toilet paper, like that kind of stuff.
not
Like,
paper toilet paper, like used shower scrubbies and or like
ew,
loofahs and um
ew, loofahs. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Maybe this
like
is my projection. I go ew, but
ew,
is that your
right?
emotional experience?
I was
Is it?
like, yeah, like I had this like I woke up and I was like, oh, okay, gross, like no, and that's what I felt when I got like when I like I
Hmm,
felt overwhelmed when I woke up from the dream,
okay.
and yeah,
Hmm. I mean, I have some immediate like connections in my brain, but I'm always very careful as a counselor not to project my own connections. And so I'm going to ask some questions
okay,
to see if I'm on the right track. I tell people all the time, like, I don't know what it is about counselors these days. I think that I think about the field of psychology and counseling very differently. Oh, man, repping the mug with the sticker on it. Look,
yes, both
man,
merch.
you buttering me up. You buttering me up.
I got both merch today.
You're on it, man. But I do think of psychology and mental health as a science, which, I wish that more people did, because in science, we gather data, we formulate a hypothesis, and then we test. And so, a lot of like my clients or counselors that I meet will be very shaken, if they're wrong, right? The counselor will be like, well, I don't want to or sorry, the client will say, I don't want to make Jesse feel like he's wrong. Or the counselor, that I supervise as a supervisor will be like, oh my gosh, I was wrong. I'm like, that's great. Like, this is science. Like, you're going to be wrong 100 times before you're right once. Like, all of those 100 pieces of getting it wrong provide critical data for the correct decision, interpretation, modality that kind of brings it all together. So, anyways, a little bit of a philosophy tangent. But before I get to my initial thoughts, let me ask some questions. Being a very tactile person, what were the main sensations that you felt?
I felt the overwhelming, like the drowning feeling, like the overwhelming pushing, being pushed down.
Is that a I'm gonna interrupt for a minute. Is that a specific being pushed down experience, or is that a I can't breathe experience?
Um, Bit of both, really.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was the push down this way, like
Oh,
sort
like
of face.
you're going
Yeah,
backwards.
yeah, going
Okay.
backwards. Um, and then I also felt I could like more of a sensation like of different skin things, like where it would be like roughness on my skin, or um there are different parts of my skin where like it felt like
Hmm.
almost like the nerve endings were dead on my like skin when I woke up.
Oh,
Yep,
interesting. Oh, so that wasn't necessarily a sensation in the dream, but when you woke up, it
woke up.
felt like
Yep,
those nerve endings were like fried, like dead,
right.
like
Yep,
too much
too
electrical
much.
energy in those nerves. They've been burnt up,
Yep,
so very intense.
yes.
Would you say that was the main sensation? Was this drowning pressure, a
The
combination of
drowning,
pressure and breathing?
the drowning pressure and breathing was more the main sensation.
Yeah. And then there were people around you too. Any identifiable people, or was it just generally there were people around just watching this happen to you without intervening?
There was a lot of people that I knew
Oh, okay.
around me. Yeah. So like these would be people like my family members,
Hmm.
um my two children, um past coworkers, those types of things. Those were people that were here. Like it was a or were that were around me.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So not like some weird cult group of people who want to do you harm. They're like just the natural people that you interact with in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
What was the most surprising about the dream? I mean, as I'm listening to it, it feels surprising that no one would reach out and try and pull you out from drowning. But was that the feeling that you had in the dream, of being surprised, like people not helping?
Yeah, like my most surprising thing was that family
Yeah.
that family didn't reach out to pull me out. And I guess I will say that when I seen my boys were younger, so they were little. They wouldn't have been strong enough to pull me out.
Okay. Oh,
But
like what
yeah,
age?
like they were probably like 5 and 7
So
ages,
very
very young.
elementary school, almost
Yeah,
just like first, second grade.
yeah. But
Got it.
the rest of my family, nobody, like my mother, my sister,
Mm.
my mom's husband, like none of them would reach in and help pull me out.
Mm. So let me recap. So it's a very like one scene type of dream, right? It's not like a whole story. Like, you've
Yeah,
seen the show. Like some people, it's this whole epic, like chapter book worth of a story that happened. Yours is just like one
one.
very intense tactile scene, which I think is very descriptive of the type of dreams you typically have.
Yeah,
Um, and so there's this pressure pushing you down, not a pull from down under, but a pressure down. And then these people around you who you would imagine would want to help you are just standing by. What do you think they are thinking? Like why would they not help? Did they have a certain emotion on their face as they're watching this happen to you?
I don't I don't recognize any emotion.
That's okay.
Um, I the only the thing first thing that popped in my head when you were asking
Mm.
was the fact that I'm hyperly independent in real life, so
Ah,
that hyper independence in my dream makes sense.
uh, uh, I do hear that. There was a big sigh as you said your hyper independence, which as a counselor makes me think like, there's more there that sigh is saying that's not communicated with words. But we'll get to that in a minute. But this thought about hyper independence, it seems almost like a conflict between your conscious brain and your subconscious brain, because consciously you know that you're hyper independent, but in this subconscious dream you were not hyper independent. You would have very much liked someone to help you out. Am I getting that right too?
Yes, yeah,
Okay. What
but
do you think about that? And does the sigh relate to that?
the side kind of relates to that, but because I as much as I would have liked for someone to reach in and pull me out, I didn't. I didn't put my. I didn't actually offer my hand out to get pulled out either.
Well, that's an interesting thought. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's weird because I kind of allowed myself to drown.
Did you? You just kind of showed up there, right?
I mean, true. That's also
Yeah.
true.
What? Whoa, hang with me here, right? This is fascinating. Like, uh, I think oftentimes when we wake up and we analyze our dream, there is this huge conflict between consciousness and subconscious. And that's the biggest difficulty. And one of the reasons that I'm so grateful that I have aphantasia, because it allows me not to visually see the person's dream that I'm talking about, but to really focus on what those things mean, because our conscious brain, it sabotage is the wrong word, but the conscious brain is kind of dumb about the emotional stuff that it knows nothing about. There's these two parts of ourselves, and neither of them really understand the other. So our emotions get frustrated with our logic, and our logic gets frustrated with our emotions, but they need each other. It's like great couples counseling. I tell you what, every couple that comes in and sits on my couch, it's the same thing. One's good with the finances, one's not. One's great at having a good time, and the other one's a stick in the mud. And I got to get them to value and see each other's points. It's like, listen, you two gotta get along. So as I hear the marital struggle of your conscious and subconscious, I hear the conscious brain saying like, well, I didn't reach out for help. But is there anything inside of the subconscious story of the dream that would indicate you didn't reach out for help, or that you didn't want help, that you were refusing it? I can repeat that if that didn't make sense.
I don't think there's anything in it. Like, I guess I kind of don't remember there being anything in there that doesn't suggest that I didn't want help.
That's what I was feeling too. It's like there's nothing about the dream you described that indicates you didn't want help and you were being aggressively independent. That almost seems like conscious projection into the dream after you've woken up.
Yeah.
Because none of the sensations that you're describing would have indicated that you were pushing help away or didn't want help. You wanted to get out yourself. There's like this feeling of powerlessness and grossness, like this assault of used germs and other people's refuse pushing you down.
Yeah.
In the dream, I promise I'll get to the interpretation, but I want to ask one more thing. In the dream, is it safe to assume that all of these like used care products are from those individuals that are surrounding sort of this pit that's sucking you down, or are they just from strangers, like it's like a random trash heap?
I think it's safe to assume that it's from the people that are there.
Be kind of logical connection,
Yeah.
right? So I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask before I assumed. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I got a thought. So time for hypothesis, right? It's like here's my hypothesis. Let's see how it resonates, and we'll correct and adjust as we go. My thought is, well, very very intense, and so put simply, here is all of this fake care, right? I could use some help. I could use some support. And so everyone has thrown these care items to me, but they're not the actual help that I need, which is support, connection, and a hand. It's like an intermediary, right? Like I want to help you, but I don't want to actually be involved in helping you. So I'm going to give you the used care products that I no longer need. So in my head, like I see this with relationships and friendships all the time, where there will be this token of help, and that token of help is not actually for the person who needs the help. The token of the help is to make me as the helper feel better about myself. It's like, well, I did help. No, you didn't. Your face says I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's definitely on the right track. I feel like every time I ask for help, or I think about asking for help,
Yeah.
or talk to somebody about what's going on openly, I get met with either how bad things are for them, and
Oh yeah, that's classic.
so the one upping, oh well, things aren't as bad for you because they're worse for me, sort of thing. And I can't help you. And yeah, it's really hard to ask for help, and then even with asking for help from strangers that are like from agencies,
Yeah.
has proven to be difficult because I can't find the right path to take.
Agreed. And you had shared with me a little bit before we started just how much like chronic health conditions that really kind of relates to, and some really tangible stuff that you could just use some help with. And you're right. Like a lot of times I think in our friendships, there'll be this one-upsmanship, right? It's like, oh, well, let me tell you about a story when it was worse for me. And it's just like, man, like what kind of selfish turn and pivot to your own story is that when I'm like reaching out to help for you? Like there's a difference between, using a personal story to relate and then ask further questions with a person, and using a personal story to defend against the discomfort that is felt when hearing someone's painful story. You know, um, as I've grown as a therapist, I think when counselors first start in their practice, they tend to be very empathetic and very very encouraging, and but sometimes there can be this over empathy, right? And so just like this validation and encouragement, that almost intensifies the sad symptoms. And so as I've grown, I think I've learned to balance a little bit more of recognizing the duality. And so that was a probably confusing way to say practically what I'm about to say next, which is I think a younger version of me would have talked about how unfair that is, and the emotions, which is very true. And, I can see that you're experiencing that now, but maybe the part that I'll add to it is I have a deep belief that your mind is not against you. It's just misunderstood. And so you have this emotion that when you wake up, you should have reached your hand out for help, that somehow this is your fault. I think logically, as we dissect this dream, we know that's not true. People are not giving you the help and support that you need. But then we run into a problem, Julie. If people aren't giving you the help and support that you need, and it's not your fault for not reaching out, well, then the conclusion is that you're helpless and you can do nothing and that you're stuck. Well, and I don't like that either. And furthermore, I don't believe it. But it's also not your fault. So what's the third balanced option? Well, I think it would be that it's not your fault for people feeling uncomfortable at your story and then projecting their own, vomit onto you. But perhaps the part that you do have control over is the communication. Right? It's like when somebody does that, we can communicate that that's not helpful and that I'm not going to have space for that. Or two, communicate hey, I see that you're giving me this thing. That's actually not what I need. I actually need this thing. And communicating that clearly gives people the opportunity to change, or even better, I think gives you or me or whoever's going through a story like that. I mean, I know many people are listening to this and relating. Gives us the opportunity to distance ourselves and put up good boundaries. If in my head, right, this is a painful truth that I think everyone's going to resonate with when they hear it. If in my head I can make up excuses for people not helping me, it defends me against the feelings of loneliness. If I can just say, well, it was because I didn't communicate well, or well, it's because I didn't reach my hand out, or well, it was because I didn't do this, it's actually kind of my fault. It sort of can defend ourselves against some other emotions that may actually be even more painful. But they may be true. There are times, gosh, in our lives when we're surrounded by individuals that are toxic for us. And then if 99% of people that are around me are just not helpful and making the situation worse, it's easy for someone to assume that the whole world is not helpful and that everyone's awful and mean. But I don't think that's true. I think there are good people out there. Sometimes they can be harder to find, It's the person who's toxic and has nothing else to do with their life that's coming up to you on the street and saying, oh, let me help you. It's the people who are actually doing the good work that are busy doing the good work. And so you have to seek them out in some ways. So there's a lot of pieces to just what seems to be such a simple just picture of a dream, like so much emotional nuance to it. That's what I love about the brain. Of the things that I'm describing, I'm kind of, the surface level of this hypothesis sounds like it fits. And so I'm kind of taking it to a deeper and deeper level. Am I still on the right path? Are these things that I'm saying resonating with you and your personal experience?
Yeah. Yeah. I am trying to And I mean, I know that we've talked about setting boundaries. And I've been trying to set up boundaries with people, and because their version of help is not helpful.
No.
So those boundaries have been in place, and I'm getting better at holding those boundaries, but it does get hard when it seems like at times that their help is the only help that's out there that's available.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't accept that toxic form of help, will those people disappear entirely?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oftentimes when I have guests on the show, I'll ask them to imagine themselves as another character in the dream and explore those emotions. But I think today I want to ask you a different question, which is, if you're going to change this dream and give it a different ending or outcome, how would you see yourself doing that? Anything. Wild fantasy imagination. Dream logic.
Wild fantasy.
Dream logic, right? That's the cool thing about dreams. You can do anything. You know,
Yeah.
you could turn into a big tiger, you know, or you could turn into, you know, trash compactor and just compact the trash into a cube and throw it at somebody, right? It could be anything, right? So what feels authentic emotionally? Like, explore your subconscious. How would you change the dream?
I think, yes, this is, the first thing that came to mind was that it's a, logically, it's a river. I just stand up in this dream. It's like, it's a shallow river. I just stand up in this dream, and
yeah, I love that.
So it's no longer, it's not a drowning feeling. It's just, I'm able to stand up and walk out of the river.
I love that. I love that. And what a good metaphor too, right? Standing up for yourself rather than looking for that help, standing up for yourself. Would you do anything next after you stand up out of the river? What would you do next?
Walking away from all those people that basically were toxic.
I mean, literally,
literally
use needles and tampons and, you know, toilet paper. But you said no toilet paper.
No toilet paper.
There's me being excited about my favorite dream symbol, poop. You know.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Where would you walk to? Where are you gonna go? You're out of the river.
I'm out of the river. I'm gonna walk to my house.
I love it. Yeah. You're so kind, Julie. I think about that dream and I imagine myself in that place, and I'm like, I'm going to turn into a dragon and light all of the stuff on fire and burn everyone else's hiney, because that's what they deserve. They're going to feel my wrath. Julie's so sweet. I'm going to stand up on my own 2 feet and I'm going to walk away.
Walk away and be peaceful.
That's what I teach my toddler. I'm like, hey, take a deep breath and walk away, bud. There was this kid at this play thing, and the kid actually pushed him out of the way to take what, you know, he was doing. And my son is an independent and strong-willed little man, and so I was right there next to it. I watched him get pushed out of the way. He looked at this kid, looked him up and down, and then he clocks his elbow back. He's 2. He's 2, and I grab his arm. I'm like, nope. And I sit him down. I'm like, buddy, that was not nice what that other kid did to you. I didn't even tell him about it. I was like, his anger and reaction was appropriate.
Yeah.
You know, we can't hit other kids, and he knows that, but he's also 2. And so I was like, hey, I saw you got really angry because that kid was not nice to you, was he? He's like, no. I was like, I tell you what, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna make sure that you get your space. And so he got to see his dad stand up for him. You know, you don't have to hit other kids in the face. Like, I'll protect your space. That's my role as dad right now. And so it just makes me think of that. You know, good life stories, man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could see that happening.
I know you can see it. You can see it. I love the innocence of two. You know.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
So
And
as you
it's
reflect on this, what what are the next steps for you? You know, I think just like your premonition dreams, they tell you about what's going to happen next or what to do next. Is there something that this dream is telling you that there is next, or maybe not?
um for me, I think that it's it's something that I've been kind of working on, and it's kind of giving me, like, telling me that I'm sort of on the right path,
Hmm.
is that I need
Great.
to kind of get out and meet more people and do more things so that I do have more people in my support that I can reach out to.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
I think you deserve that too, Julie. You do so much to help others, like with your channel, with all the things that you do. And I hope everyone who listens to this goes and checks out the links that are in the description for all the great work that you do to help others share their story. Um, I love that. I love that a lot. I think you deserve it.
thanks.
Any closing thoughts? I mean, it feels like a natural conclusion, like we've worked it the whole way through. But any questions you have about it, or closing like thoughts or revelations that are coming to your mind?
I think that this was good. Like,
Mm.
I I turned 50 last month, and
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Hell yeah. Looking good, man.
and I think that with that, I was thinking that there's 50 there I have 50 goals, and one of them is like getting out and having more of a support system,
Mm.
doing more things, and then having this dream was kind of more of a kind of that push in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I very strongly believe that. I don't think our dreams are trying to hurt us. I think they're trying to share an experience that helps us provide clarity and direction moving forward. So I'm glad that you're able to accept this one and talk it through. I appreciate your honesty, your bravery, sharing those things. I hope it feels encouraging. And maybe think about not the experience of being drowned by used care products, but the feeling of standing up and walking away to a place that feels like home.
yeah,
I wonder how that feels in your body. I imagine it feels, well, a lot different, perhaps very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Julie, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. If anyone wants to get a hold of Julie, just fill out an application to be on the show. She'll get right with you.
Yeah.
Or better yet, send her a DM on all her social media handles, empowering me on all the different platforms, but they're linked down below.
Yeah.
And again, Julie, thanks so much. And I'll
Thanks
catch
for
you
having
all
me.
in the next episode. Until then,
All right.
bye.